Chase from Mini Game, and this is SGC 2015. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Rick Felice from Tip and Goat LLC, creator of Super Slam Dunk Touchdown.
First of all, I'd like to acknowledge that you're dressed up as a referee as opposed to other denominators. Why is that?
Well, it's a sports game, and the ref is sort of, running the show a little bit in sports. So I figured it was appropriate to dress up.
That sounds like you're having fun.
It's a good time.
What is the game, by the way?
It's a local multiplayer all-sports mashup. We take soccer, hockey, football, roller derby, basketball, and baseball, cram them all together into one physics-driven, retro-styled, arcade sort of sports game.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot of fun.
What drew your inspiration in doing this?
I'm a fan of classic retro games from the 8 and 16-bit era. I really liked the sports games back then that had a focus on action and fun and weren't necessarily trying to emulate a specific sport. Which is fine if you like sports simulations, but this is sort of more your NES ice hockey, NBA Jam, Mutant League football, Blades of Steel, arch rivals type of game.
And tell me more about the gameplay as far as what you do in the game.
Well, it's pretty simple controls. You got an analog stick and 3 buttons. You can shoot the ball, you can fight, you can pass it, you can use your turbo boost to get a little speed boost. There's a goalie that is hard to tangle with. There's 3 different ways to score. You got a soccer net, field goal posts, and a basketball hoop. Every player sort of plays the sport as if they're playing their own way. So basketball's shooting for the hoop, soccer's kicking the ball, and they're all competing for points in the same way.
And what made you want to mash up all these different sports instead of just have one different sport?
Well, single sport games have been done before. I'd never seen a game that mixed it all up, and I've always kind of wanted to see that in action. So we took a 3D physics engine and just, what happens when you put a football on ice or throw a bowling ball down the turf, how does that all interact? And I got interested in sort of how that worked.
Now, while I do like the idea of having the couch cooperative play, the one problem is that I am a solo game reviewer. I do not, most of my friends, they're usually not available, and for games like Crystal Brawl, unfortunately, if you don't have friends with you, you can't play it, but you have bots.
Yeah, there's AI bots, so even if you have one odd guy out, you can substitute a bot in, or you can play asymmetrically, 3-on-2 or 1-on-2. We're also going to work on a single player / co-op mode, a season mode, so you have a better single player or 2-3 player experience with you and your buddies playing throughout the week.
Alright, so you can pretty much enjoy the game without having to have another person in here.
Absolutely, but nothing's more fun than being shoulder to shoulder on a couch.
I know. It's just the issue with me. So at least I can be able to play your game. I noticed that you are allowing players to play the game with the GameCube controller. Why is that as opposed to other controllers?
Well, I had GameCube controllers laying around, and I think I originally started with Xbox controllers, but there's a 4-player limitation with the Xbox 360 controllers, and we support 6. So I got some USB adapters, and I started using it with GameCube, and I really liked playing with the GameCube controller, so when I took it on the road to show off, it just made sense. The GameCube adapters are really cheap, and so, I don't know, people seem to like it. Smash Brothers players come and they like to play with GameCube controllers.
Yeah. Do you have do you think of using the PS4 controllers?
PS4 controllers work great. Xbox One controllers work great. Any USB controller that Windows accepts, you can play with the flight stick. Don't recommend it, but any controller Windows works will work with it.
Oh, okay. Now, do you have any? I've noticed when you have multiple characters to play as, but so far there's only one map and one mode. Do you plan on having more maps, or?
Well, there's different floor types. So you can play on turf, you can play on ice, you can play on court, you can play on street. The arena itself, the shape of the arena is at the moment there's just the one layout, but you can change the width of it. You can play on a really short arena for tight games. You can do more of a midfield game or a longer arena. So there's lots of game options.
I had a lot of crazy fun with the time I spent on it. I mean, I haven't seen any sport game that ludicrous. And I'm not a fan of sports. And that's actually one of the most interesting games I've seen on the show floor.
The way I look at it, people who love sports games love this game. People who don't like sports games love this game. People who like sports love this game. People who don't like sports love this game. Everybody get together and play. And to me, that's what sports are about. You're playing a game, you're playing with a team, you're trying to win. And if you can take that experience and put it in front of the TV and make it accessible to people to play, you've got a good time in your house, and that's really what you're looking for.
And speaking of it, do you plan on like releasing it like on the consoles?
Yeah, consoles are planned. I don't have any official thing to announce with that. We're shooting right now for the Windows release by the end of the year. It's in early access right now on tickandgo.com. And after that, we'll be exploring different console options for next year.
I feel like that would actually work because consoles are actually probably the way to go if you want to make a local multiplayer experience. Because
sure.
PC is not really the place where you want to find out.
But it's been developed on Windows, so it's just
Yeah.
easier to. Here's the Windows version. Let's get it refined and perfected. And once we have that complete experience, bring it over to the console.
Yeah. I guess just my only concern out of what I was playing was just will there be more of it? I think you already answered that with the campaign and the different like layouts.
Yeah, I think doing a season mode is really important so that you can unlock stuff and get that sense of progression as you go through. And
Right.
even if you only have one or two friends, you get boring just continuously playing against each other and the same thing over and over. So this way you kind of change it up. You have different challenges. The AI changes and it gives you a little more longevity for your gaming dollar.
Well, that sounds interesting. I'm looking forward to your game.
Appreciate it.
I guess the only thing I could say is like when's the how's it coming along and like when can we see a release date?
Well, like I said, it's in early access right now. It'll be on Steam in a few weeks, early access, and it'll be done when it's done. But I'm pretty confident we can have something pretty well polished by the end of the year.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.